Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, here to highlight some of the great Black Friday game deals that are available at our good friends over at Green Man Gaming. They've got a lot of great deals, and the initial deals that I am going to go over, you can use the code STAR15, that's STAR15, and you'll save an additional 15% on top of that. They've got these games that are offering a bonus Black Friday packs with it when you buy them, so that's pretty cool, but more than anything, you're getting some great deals on these games, and really, this is scratching the surface, so if you want more titles, there's a lot of options in terms of games you can pick up. So a lot of great stuff across the board. So certainly a lot of quality stuff to check out as well. So we'll get to all of that as we go through the video. Alright, so right off the bat, I want to give a shout out to a couple of Final Fantasy titles. Final Fantasy 16 Complete Edition, which just came out. It is 25% off for $52.49. You can use the code STAR15 and it'll get it down to its lowest price, $44.62, which a lot of people can still see as fairly expensive for Final Fantasy 16. You do get the DLC with the Complete Edition. The DLC is quite good, especially the Rising Tide DLC. Was very, very good. Final Fantasy 16 is one of the most divisive video games that you might ever come across, because there are people like me that absolutely loved it, and then there are people that did not like it whatsoever. I have friends that have played Final Fantasy 16 that aren't big Final Fantasy fans, and it seems like those are the people that didn't have a long-standing affinity and attachment towards Final Fantasy that really enjoyed Final Fantasy 16. Now, I've had a long-standing attachment towards Final Fantasy, and I still really enjoyed Final Fantasy 16, but I've also talked to people that did not enjoy the game from the standpoint of it being primarily an action game, a lot of it being cinematic oriented, so to speak, but I really like the game. Visually, it's absolutely stunning. The PC version isn't perfect, but I completed the game on PC and I thought it was fairly good the whole way through, so definitely would recommend it. And for this price point, again, it's fairly hefty, but you do get a lot of content. You get the DLC. It's not a bad pickup. Final Fantasy VII Remake INTERGRADE is on sale. It's 50% off for $35, but again, you can use the code STAR15. Save a little bit more on it. FF7 Remake is great. Hopefully we'll get Rebirth on PC next year, because while Remake is really good, Rebirth is just a far, far superior game. It's a far more expansive game. It tackles a better portion of Final Fantasy VII's story, so obviously it's just going to be more compelling from that standpoint, but Remake INTERGRADE is still quite good. You know, the base game is good, and then you get the Yuffie DLC as well that I think is pretty decent. And it is Steam Deck verified. It runs really, really well on the Steam Deck from my experience, so, you know, there is that element to it as well. Still a hefty price point, but this is one that I just feel like is gonna hold up in price for quite a while. And then I'll give a shout to Final Fantasy 15 as well, another game. Like, yo, the recent Final Fantasy games are all super divisive. 15 was a very divisive game as well, and 15 I was a little bit more down on. My hype and anticipation for 15 was astronomical, given I was following this game when it was Final Fantasy Versus 13 in 2006, and you know, if you take away my hype and anticipation and you assess the game as it is, yes, the narrative is completely disjointed and not very good, but from a gameplay standpoint, visual standpoint, content standpoint, there's a lot to like with Final Fantasy 15, and if you go into it with tempered expectations, and you go into it knowing that narratively it's not the best, you're probably going to have a really good time with it, because the soundtrack's great, again, the gameplay's solid, and there's quite a bit of content as well. $14, and again, you can use the STAR15 code. The Royal Edition also does include the DLC, which is quite nice as well, so check that out. We got Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, 20% off for $48, but again, you can use the STAR15 code, and that'll get it down to its best price yet. You do need to PSN account link, but only for the multiplayer. If you want to just play the single player, no account linking is required, so that's quite nice. You got the Iki Island expansion here included, and Ghost of Tsushima is absolutely awesome. We'll see how this, the follow-up title, I was about to say sequel, but, you know, depending on how you want to view it, the follow-up title, Ghost of YoRHa, that's coming out next year on PlayStation 5, maybe 2026 on PC, that's what I would assume, but, yeah, visually, Tsushima still looks amazing, and it's a great game, and I think Jin is one of the more underrated main characters in video games, so For that price point, not a bad deal. Again, still relatively hefty, but it just came out back in May. Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, 50% off for $30. Again, use the code STAR15 and you'll save a little bit more. Love Spider-Man 2018. I think it's a great game. The DLC is pretty good and it's included in here. And Spider-Man 2 is coming out in January. Account linking required for that, but with Spider-Man 2018, it's not. So, yeah, fantastic game. Just been holding up in price for so long. It came out 2 years ago, and it's still at an absolute premium price point. But you know what? It's a great game, and I would recommend it. NieR Automata, Game of the YoRHa Edition, is $16. I mean, NieR Automata is absolutely awesome. It is a terrific game. Excellent gameplay. Combat is great. Soundtrack is incredible. For $16, no-brainer, and again, you'll get it a little bit cheaper with STAR15. HELLDIVERS 2, 20% off for $32, and use the code, and you'll get it a little bit cheaper there as well. One of the most notable multiplayer titles of the year, a pretty good one. It has had its issues, but seems like Arrowhead is very much invested into continually updating and improving the game. Definitely peaked around the time it came out. The typical cycle that video games do have, but HELLDIVERS 2, I thought, was a really solid outing. And for $32, use the code STAR15 and you'll get it even cheaper. A pretty solid pickup, especially if you have a group of friends to play with. That's really where you're getting the best experience. Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition, 42% off for $34.97. Unfortunately, Green Man Gaming does not put Horizon Zero Dawn on sale anymore. They do have the remastered edition, but they don't have the regular copy of the game. That's just Sony being absolutely whack. And I told you guys, you know, maybe pick up Zero Dawn before remastered came out. The remastered version of Zero Dawn looks great, but yeah, nonsense as far as that's concerned. Forbidden West, speaking of games that look great, Forbidden West, in my opinion, is legitimately one of the best looking video games of all time. If you want to argue it's the best looking video game of all time, I don't even think that's too big of a stretch. This game is incredible from a visual standpoint. I really like the gameplay. Narratively is where I think you know, it gets a little bit off the rails, to say the least. I just think it gets a little bit too wacky, and we're talking about a franchise where the main aspect is fighting robo-dinos, and I still think it gets a little bit too wild. But you know what? We'll see where they go with Game 3. This game is still so freaking great, and for $34 and change, I think it's a great pickup. Okay, so those are the deals that you could use STAR15 with. A couple of other deals that are just good deals. Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition is $2.49. Always gonna be one of those deals that I gravitate towards and I recommend. It is tremendous. Sleeping Dogs is absolutely awesome. It's one of those games that every couple of years I go back to and play through. Unfortunately, that will never get a sequel for it, but man, what a great open world action title. Great main character, great setting, great soundtrack as well, so check that out. XCOM 2 The Collection, 93% off for $6.96. You get XCOM 2 and the War of the Chosen expansion, as well as some other DLC content. A great game here as well. Definitely worth the sub $7 here, especially if you're into tactics games, but even if you're not, that's one of those games that I would still say give a shot to, and you might end up really liking it. BioShock The Collection is $10.44. It's BioShock 1, 2, and Infinite. It's great. It's always worth a pickup if you don't have those games. Just an excellent buy. God of War 2018, $17.40. God of War 2018 is awesome. I actually like the game better than God of War Ragnarok, but you know, your mileage may vary. That one, I have friends that like Ragnarok better, but 2018 I thought was excellent. Last of Us Part 1, $31.31. You know, this game was one of the worst PC ports of all time, as you guys know, when it came out back in, what was it, March of last year, but it's a lot better now. It's just, man, why this game's still over $30? I get it that it's one of the most iconic video games of all time, and it's a tremendous game, far better than Last of Us Part 2, but can we get this game down to like 20 bucks at least? It's still a tremendous game and I would recommend it, but yeah, that price point is hefty. And Days Gone is $10.88. There are rumblings that Days Gone is going to get the Horizon treatment, where it's going to get a remastered release. Probably they're going to bake in PSN account linking, so you know, not a bad idea to pick up Days Gone. It probably won't happen for a while where that remaster is going to come out, but just letting you guys know about that. Days Gone itself is a pretty decent game. It's not the best PlayStation exclusive, and especially among the best PlayStation published titles, it's not in the mix, but it's still a fairly good game, and I would certainly say give it a playthrough and you'll probably end up enjoying it. And a lot of people think it's absolutely at the level of the top PlayStation titles. But that's going to do it for me. Again, links to all of these deals in the description box below. Check them out there. A lot of great stuff, but that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate it if you guys hit that button, so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.